So we have the user schema and the user model to be able to permanently store information about users, right? So now let's focus on websites. Okay. So first of all, we'll need to create the schema and some of the model for being able to create these websites. So let's focus on that. And in the assignment, we asked you to implement the following schema for the website. Okay, we'll have the name or the title of the website, the description, a list of pages that is related to, that it's a parent of, right? The date that it was created, and notice that it has this underscore user field, right? So this field is going to be a reference back to its parent. Okay. So that's each website will know who their parent is. Right? So let's implement this schema. All right. So under website, we're going to create a new JavaScript. So let's do here will be website dot schema dot server.js. So in here, we'll first of all we'll grab mongoose, require the mongoose library, and then we can start creating the website schema using the mongoose schema object, and provided the fields that describe the schema, right? So first of all, we'll have it declare underscore user, right? That's going to refer back to the user who's the parent of this website. Okay, and so to do that, we're going to have to tell it that the type of this thing is a key, right? It's one of those unique identifiers, right? It's one of those unique identifiers, so it's a type. It's a well-known type in Mongoose. It's inside of the Mongoose libraries, right? So you can say mongoose.schema.objectID. There it is, right? So this is that, and that's what they are, right? If you look at the Mongo, all these, right, all these fields here, right, they are of type object ID. See that, right? So that's how it should interpret this underscore user, right? And that's going to be the value, right? It's going to have a kind of like a foreign key, right, referring to this object instance. The other thing that we need to establish here is configure some metadata for Mongoose to know how it should interpret this ID. How should it interpret it, right? At a higher level, right? So we're going to tell it that this ID actually refers to the user model that we declared earlier, right? So if we ever ask it to populate, if we ever ask it to fetch the object for which this ID refers to, right, it should interpret it locally as one of those instances of a user model, right? And the name that we chose, I believe, was undergraduate user model, maybe? Is that the name we chose? User model. Yeah, there it is, that one. So these two match, meaning we could ask it, if we have a website and we need to know who the user is, if we go fetch it in the database, when the website comes back, the only thing that it will have is this ID, right? This primary key, this foreign key referring to this user model. But we could ask it to please populate it, right? Just substitute this with the actual object instance, right? And it will replace this with the values of Ken and last name and first name and whatnot, right? It'll populate with everything. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So we'll do it, but yes, it's one call, right? It's one call. You do the find, right? And then right after the find, you do a dot populate dot, right? You can provide several filters, right? That will interpret the response, right? And do things. You could do sorting. You can do all sorts of max min, all sorts of aggregation operations, including populate. Yeah, and we'll play with it. Right, and again, this feature is not supported by the native MongoDB library, right? This is an abstraction layer, right? That brings you as close as possible to something that looks like a join, right? But again, joins are not supported by the underlying MongoDB implementation. All right, so what else do we need here? Let's see. We have the name of the website. We have a description, also a string, and pages. So pages, we don't have pages yet. Let's get a date created, and this is going to be of type date, and we're going to give it a default of date.now. Date.now. And we're going to, before we go too far, we're going to configure the name of the collection that we want to use, and we'll choose undergraduate underscore website. Okay? All right? And now that we have it declared, we can then now expose this. We can say module exports is equal to website schema. Okay? All right. All right, now that we have the schema, we can go ahead and declare the model for this, right? And declare it right here. We'll say JavaScript, we'll say website.model.server.js. And we can load that schema. We can say var mongoose first, right? So we're going to require mongoose. And also load the website model. We're going to require that, I mean not model, sorry, schema. So it's users, where is it? No, not user, website schema. There it is. Good. And what else? Now we can instantiate the model. We can say var website model, right? And using mongoose, we can create the model. We'll call it undergraduate website model, right? And using the schema that we have here, website schema. There we go, right? And here we can create the data model, the API to interact with this using the low-level website model, right? And then expose it to the rest of the world through the website model. We can say module exports equal website model, and in here we can start creating values or websites and start creating them and finding them and whatnot. All right. Okay, and we'll do that next.